This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, top 10 lead sources for network marketing. I wish somebody would have explained all this to me when I first got started. I don't know if I would have understood it, but I wish somebody would have. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Campbell. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I have a traditional background in business. We own a real estate company, we own a holistic health company, own a marketing company. I am an affiliate marketer and a network marketer, and I am a John C. Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. So today, let's get into this. Now, if you have been in direct sales, network marketing, MLM, and you're discouraged or depressed or frustrated or mad or upset, you're ready to throw in the towel, you're ready to quit. I know how you feel. I have felt like that too. And what I found is a training can turn all that around. Some knowledge can turn all that around. Why? Because sometimes you're just missing a key piece of the puzzle, and then all of a sudden it starts working. So let's get right into this. This is lead sources. The very first lead source, and probably the one I've had, a significant amount of success with, but it took a long time, was warm market, meaning friends, family, and acquaintances. When I first started out, I went out and blabbed to everybody. And what I mean by blab, there was no actual structure to the presentation. Just talking. I didn't know how to properly contact somebody, meaning, hey, let me introduce, do me a favor. I want you to know about something I'm working on. I went with, you're stupid if you don't look at this. And that's not going to work out. So although I had no success in doing this in the beginning, after I figured it out and mastered it, I was able to go back and talk with people, and people joined, or people bought, or people referred. So those are the kind of the three things that you want, right? So that's the first lead source. That's where most people start, is friends, family, and acquaintances. I'll be real honest, that's the least. I like that category the least, personally. The second category is Facebook and or social media. I have received, recruits, and I've, found customers, and I've found referrals from Facebook/social media. And there's a lot of different ways it happens. Now, the number one way it's happened is the work I'm doing now. It wasn't the work I was doing 10 years ago when I first started on Facebook. I would say the first thing that I had success with is not posting anything, meaning it had nothing to do with what I was posting. What I found is going on to other people's social media sites that are influential. If you know the name Eric Ward, if you know the name Ray Higdon, if you know the name Danny Johnson, if you know the name Tim Spears, Simon Chan. These are all influential network marketers. And what I found is going on to their pages and just simply positive comments on things they're already doing. Like if they have a video, you write a positive comment about it. If they do a post, you write a positive comment. If it's a quote, you're like, that's a great quote. I also like this one. If they talk about a book, I was like, I like that book. I also like this book. What other books have you heard of? So sometimes I'll ask questions. Another good thing is look at the comments that people are writing. A lot of times people will ask questions on these influential people's social media sites, and they never get back to them. Now, some people do. I'm not pointing out who does and who doesn't. I'm just saying some people don't get back to them. So what I've done is gone in, looked for those comments, and actually commented and saying, hey, if you're looking for that help, here's something that will help you. I'm not saying come to my page. I'm not saying, hey, if you join me, I'll teach this to you. I'm giving the advice right there. Because I do that, then I get engagement, and people actually will then reach out to me if they, want more information, or if they're like, hey, what do you do? That's how I've had the most success in the beginning. That's how it started. Then the most powerful thing I've done on social media or Facebook is not lives like this. It's not this. Although I think it's helped where people are like, hey, I saw you. I know that you do this. But that has not helped me recruit anybody. The thing that helped me recruit the most people is actually posting the work that I'm doing. Here's what I mean. When I text people, I actually, when I'm done, I make a record of it. And the record is, here's the amount of time I worked. Usually it's 60 to 90 minutes. Sometimes it's 2 hours. Rarely it's 2 hours. Here's how many people I contacted, anywhere between 50 to 150 people. and here are the results of those contacts. Here's how many people told me no, or this isn't for me, or I'm not interested, or disconnected number. Here's how many people wanted information. Here's how many people wanted the video, and here's how many people asked to get started. So when I post that on a consistent basis, that has brought me more traffic. That has brought me more leads than anything I've ever done online. All the shits, all the posts, all the lives combined have not done as much. Now, the other thing that's starting to pick up is actually reels, and I have not done them up until about 20 days ago. About 20 days ago, I started doing them, just kind of mess around. I know that it was, something that is being promoted really heavily right now. The problem with doing reels and the problem with doing videos like this is until you have some experience actually in the field, you don't know what works and what doesn't. And what I mean by you don't know what works and what doesn't, you could do an entire video like this, not get any feedback at all, and you don't know if you're on point or not on point. When you're in a one-on-one situation, you're actually presenting what you do, you can start picking up what works and what doesn't. So these are just things that help. Number one, warm market, friends, family, and acquaintances. We've all heard that. Most of us have gone through that. The second thing for leads is Facebook, social media, and these different avenues, whether you're commenting on an influencer's page, or you're commenting on a comment from an influencer's page, or you're doing live videos, or you're posting, but typically posting about your opportunity is not going to yield you anything, typically. I have not seen that be successful for basically anybody other than the people who have massive influence. So that being said, we're going to move on to the third source of leads, which is picking up business cards. Guys, there's gas stations, there's truck stops, there's coffee houses, Panera Breads, there's different bulletin boards all over the place, and I'm constantly on the lookout for people who put out business cards. A lot of breakfast places do this, right? A lot of breakfast places will put up business cards, and that's a source of leads. But what you have to do is you have to actually go out and figure out a way that you're going to contact these people, because just saying, hey, go look at my link, you will fail automatically. That will not work. I don't care how many you do, you will not gain any traction. If you get anybody to respond back to that, they're probably not going to engage, because they're going to try to do what didn't work for you, and then it's not going to work for them, and they're going to quit. So picking up business cards. Now, this specific training is not here to teach you, what to say to the business cards, right? We'll do that on another one. But business cards by itself, I've recruited people from business cards that I've picked up at these different events. And one of the other places to pick up business cards outside of those sources is networking events. I just went to a networking event, and I have my list of cards right here. So just kind of give you an idea, Doma, which is a closing company, met Cassie. Cassie is an attorney. Specifically, Cassie's an attorney from Boston that moved around and finally ended up opening up an office here in Indianapolis. Very, very cool person, planning on getting back. Jake was somebody she worked with. So these are two one-on-ones we've set up. Custom, Trisha, Thomas, business that builds. Who is this? Just as business development. Anyway, Trisha was at the meeting. I do not remember her, but I was able to grab her card. Next, that's her again. So, okay, this is a person who does too. She's the one who does total restoration. Got it. Ruth was at the meeting, VP of Strategic Relationships, Chamber of Commerce. This one's gold. Now, what most people are going to do is most people are going to try to call this card, and most people are going to try to convince this person, right, that they absolutely positively have to get in this because they know everybody. Wrong approach. The approach needs to be, here's what I do. Who would you recommend me to go talk to? You obviously know the people that you brought in, because she's a membership advisor. She's the one that recruits the people. Now, I'm going to show her how it all works. So if she has an interest, she can tell me. But I would rather have her as an advocate of referrals than I would try to force her to buy in. Trisha has 3 cards. That's wild. And now I know exactly who she is because I can see her face. Executive Solutions, so she does that as well. Maddie was the one who ran the office. that we had the networking event. Very cool. Center Investors. This is a financial investor. I met her at the very end. She was from Russia because I heard her accent and I was like, Nuparovsky? She's like, yep. So networking events. What kind of networking events are good to go to? I have always avoided certain ones that require you to show up every single week and pass out business cards. If it's forced, typically it's garbage. Just personally, if it's forced, typically it's garbage. The people have been there for 25 years. They don't know how to network. I actually have gone to some of those meetings. I've collected everybody's card. I've gotten together with people the way you're supposed to do it afterwards, call them back, set up a one-on-one, had coffee with several of them. And I get to the third, fourth person and they're like, oh man, I wish I could really find this. And I'm like, that person is sitting in your meeting. What? I didn't know that. I didn't know they did that. I'm like, you've been with this group for 10 years. Have you ever bothered to take everybody out for coffee at least once to find out what the hell they do? Or are you just interested in blabbing about what you do? And that's typically what happens. They're just interested in talking about what they do. So picking up business cards at different networking events, picking up business cards at different offices, right? This is just another tip. If you have home builders around you, like if you live in a city where there's a lot of building going on, it's specifically production home building, like not custom homes, usually not custom homes, but we're talking about production building where they're building an entire neighborhood and they have the 3 models. Go in there. There's real estate cards. There's mortgage cards. There's title people's cards. There's usually construction people's, like they have everybody's card there, right? That's a great source of leads. Now, as a realtor, I have an advantage to go in and be like, hey, what other realtors do you work with? And they're very open with me. If you do that as a customer, it's not going to work out so well. Just giving you that tip. So the third is business cards. The first is warm market. We all know that. The second is social media, Facebook. And the third is picking up business cards. The fourth, fish bowls. I know this one sounds weird. Fish bowls. So if you've ever been in a restaurant that's non-franchise, usually 99% of the time it has to be non-franchise, or any kind of business at all, coffee shops work really well if they're not franchise. What is a franchise? Starbucks is a franchise. Starbucks will not let you leave a fishbowl at their place because it's against their regulations. And I only know that because I know people who work there. Major chain restaurants will not let you leave a fishbowl 99.9% of the time, unless you know somebody way high up or they're just blatantly going to break the rules, which sometimes happens too. But fish bowls are really cool because what you can do is you can go into the restaurant owner. I just did this. A friend of mine owns a restaurant. And I said, hey, would you mind if we put a fish bowl up and we offered a free lunch once a week, I will pull from the stack of business cards, people that I want to meet, and I'm going to pay for their lunch here at your restaurant. And people are like, okay, yeah, cool. So I was able to put out one. And then I talked to another friend of mine, well, not so much a friend, but some place that I frequent. By the way, if you're a terrible tipper, this will not work. Right? If you're a terrible tipper, this will not work. If you complain constantly about your food and it's cold and it's this and you didn't bring me that, and people know, like, especially in the service industry, they know if you're a pain in the ass. And if you're a pain in the ass, this will not work. You know, if you have to ask 7 million questions, this will not work. But if you're a good tipper and you treat people well, I walked in. This gentleman happens to be not from this country. And it was a translation thing, and I kind of had to explain it to him because he's like, yeah, of course you can do that. Yeah, no problem. He's like, we'll put it right here, and you buy lunch, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, done. So that was the second one, and I got a third one. So fish bowls, what you can do is you can collect 100 cards in a week from places that have a lot of traffic. Now, if you live in the middle of nowhere, obviously this isn't going to work out so well. But if you live in a place where business people frequent, and this is where a mentor hanging out with somebody who knows what the hell's going on and working with somebody who knows what the hell's going on can make the job a million times easier. You know, as Tony Robbins says, that's how you take decades and turn them into days, is working with somebody who knows what they're doing. So fish bowls, amazing, amazing way to get contacts. And I've done this before. It's just been a long time since now it's kind of time to do it again. Five, cold market, the 3 to 6 foot rule. I've used this, I meet people all the time when I'm out, and here's the key to making this work. The key to making this work is not contacting them. That's the easiest way to put it. The key to making this work is not contacting them. It's using something called form, family, occupation, recreation, the message. I'll do another training on this. But basically, it's a line of questions that allows you to build rapport very, very rapidly. What is rapport? Rapport is what actually connects the two of you, where they actually want to give you more information and they like you. Your job is to ask the questions. Again, your job is to ask the questions. Your job is to ask the questions, not talk. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to do when you're new, because when you're new, you're excited and you want to tell them every stupid thing that has nothing to do, that will never recruit anybody. And you want to tell them how you went to this meeting and you met this person and, oh my God, the product's so good and this, that, and the other thing. They will run away. You'll see the glaze go over their eyes. They'll back up. They'll fold their arms. They'll cross their legs. They'll tell you stop talking. They'll try to walk away, and you'll try to follow them. Right when you're new, you do all this, and you don't even know you do it because you're so busy talking. You're not actually observing what's going on. But cold market is really, really good if you can master rapport. If you cannot master rapport, cold market will never work. It'll never work. You can drop off 1 million website, DVD, business card, magazines, and you're never going to get anywhere. And I've watched people do it for years and spend thousands of dollars in bullshit tools that they've left all over the place, just garbage everywhere. And then I come in and I actually recruit these people. So I just want to say thank you to all the people who leave all the crap everywhere. Scott, what's going on? So cold market. 6, resumes or commission sales opportunities online. I have posted commission sales opportunities. Now here's how I do this, just to clarify. I own a real estate company. I own a marketing company. So am I necessarily advertising the network marketing company? No. In fact, most of the time you can't do that. Most companies have some clause in it where you cannot advertise. At least you cannot advertise their name. So what you can do is you can start a lead generation company. I was taught this very early on in network marketing. You want to be a lead generation company, have a lead generation company and your network marketing opportunity, because this lead company is what you can use for advertising. You can use that for advertising. That's legit. Now, you have to become legit to do it, meaning I have an LLC, I have a separate phone number, I have an email, I have a physical address, I file taxes on my marketing lead generation company, right? Network marketing can't do that. So this company actually creates the leads, and that's how I'm able to get resumes. Now, you can also buy resumes from certain companies, but typically they want all the information that I just talked about. Are you a real employer? Do you have the ability to actually find people, or are you just trying to sell something? If you're just trying to sell something, you're like, hey, I'm with XYZ company and we're a direct sales company, click, they'll hang up on you, you're done. They're like, I'm sorry, we can't do that because you don't actually own that company. It's not yours. Although we say all the time it's your business, go read your contract. No network marketing company, none of them does it say you own it. None of them. You don't own your distributorship. You usually don't own your database. You don't own anything. It's a privilege that they are allowing you to work with them. And I'm not trying to down and bash the industry. I'm just kind of being honest with how it really works. Because a lot of people are like, I own my own business. I'm like, you need to read your contract. You don't own crap. 7, Craigslist. Guys, there's all kinds of sections on Craigslist. Of course, there's a job section, and that's is what it is. You'll pay for that. There's the gigs section. The gigs section is really cool. A couple friends of mine showed me how to post ads on gigs, $5 to $10. Did that yield people? Yes. Were they the highest quality? No, not always. But have I recruited people from Craigslist? Yes. You just have to go through an enormous amount of people, period. I'm just going to be super honest. If you're going to do network marketing, just plan on going through at least 1,000 people and getting nowhere. Yeah, I'm dead serious. Plan on contacting about 1,000 people that doesn't yield anything. Most of you, the reason you're not making money, the reason it's not working for you is you think you're able to contact 10 people, it's going to work for you. And that doesn't happen. It's just not how it works. Now, every once in a while, there's somebody who gets in that contacts 10 people and gets, a couple. It's because they already have experience. They've already gone through that 1,000 people where they've gotten nothing. I'm just being honest with you. That's what it really, really takes. And if you're not willing to do that, get out and go do something else. Simple. Get out and go do something else. Keep your product, love your product, but if you're going to build it as a business, just know that's what it takes. In real estate, you're going to have to contact several hundred to thousands of people. You're going to have to do all kinds of marketing to get deals. In insurance, you're going to have to contact thousands of people. It's hundreds of phone calls a week to get a couple sales. It's the same in every industry. But what happens in network marketing and direct sales is people get lied to. It's kind of like a small lie. All you need to do is find 2 people. All you need to do is find 3 people. And if you just talk to your friends and family, you can find these 2 people. Maybe you might have to go through 1,000 people to find those 2 people. Maybe. So Craigslist is another way to do it. YouTube is another source of leads that I've been able to produce. In fact, Brandy, my fiance, is actually a result of YouTube videos that I did years ago. I did YouTube trainings years ago. Her friend that she worked with in a network marketing company saw my YouTube video, contacted me, tried to recruit me, and I reversed it on him and recruited his whole team. Now, it wasn't like directly maliciously like that. He just came to me and said, hey, and he pitched me, and I was like, that was so god awful. Like, who's training you? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what you just did is not going to work. I'm like, have you had any success doing that? He's like, no. In fact, like, you're the first person that's actually talked to me at all. And I said, if I can give you what to do, are you interested? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Here's what to go say. Here's what to go do. And he did it, and it worked so fast. He's like, oh my gosh, this worked fast. Like, he'd been in network marketing for a couple of years. He's like, in the first day of doing what you told me, I was able to get more response and more contacts than my entire several years of doing this. What do you do? And that's when I invited him to a training, and then he invited his team to the training, and then his team turned around and told him, hey, we want to go work with that guy because that guy knows what he's doing. That's how I met my fiance. So YouTube, content creation, things like this video. Number 9, buying opportunity leads. Now, buying opportunity leads works, guys. It's just you have to go through a lot of them, and here's the phrase, you have to be aggressive. And what do I mean by aggressive? I don't mean like super pushy. I mean like aggressive to get a hold of people. Because some of you want to send one text and that's it. And like, oh, it doesn't work because I sent a text and I didn't get anything back. Did you call them the next day and say, hey, I sent you a text? Did you leave them a voice message? Did you send a second text or a third text? Now, sometimes I don't text back because I have so many leads. I'd rather just go through, and I'm kind of looking for the people. I'm personally at a point where I'm looking for the people that are quick response, right? If it takes your ass forever to make a decision, you're not who I'm looking for. If it takes you weeks or months to come up with $100, you're not who I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are ready right now. And people who don't have $100 or $200, whatever the hell it is to get in your company, people who don't have that kind of money or can't get to that kind of money are only going to know people who are also broke. So you're going to spend all this time to recruit somebody, and all of us have done it, spent 2 weeks, 3 weeks trying to get somebody in. You get somebody in, and then they can't get anybody in for the next year. Why is that? Because it's a downhill thing. You make this much money, they make this much money, their friends make this much money, and pretty soon you're working with people who have no money, no car, no access, no friends. You're not going to be able to build a business. You have to build up. And we always say recruit up. If you make $50,000 a year, you're looking for people who make $60,000 a year. That's just the way it works. I'm sorry. The less amount of money you make, the harder it will be for you to recruit people who make money. That's just how it works. It's called the law of magnetism by John Maxwell. John Maxwell, law of magnetism says, that you don't get what you want, you get who you are. The last one. This is the most important one, by the way. This is the most important one for those of you who were watching for 5 minutes and jumped off because you're on Craigslist right now trying to post ads, is Bandit Signs. Bandit Signs was the most effective for the cost of anything I've ever done. A bandit sign is nothing more than a advertisement on a sign. You've seen We Buy Houses signs, or we're hiring signs, and sometimes they're handwritten. The handwritten signs of, you know, seeking sales reps. Seeking sales reps, work from home, flexible hours. Those three component, any wording, you know, or any combination of those three things with a text me and here's the phone number, you can receive lead after lead. I can actually scroll through my phone right now and show you thousands of leads that I didn't even get back with. I didn't have time from Bandit Signs. So with that being said, I'm going to make a suggestion. If this helped, if, you know, you've been lost, you're like, man, this opens up a bunch of doors. I didn't even know most of these sources existed. What I can say is go join our community. Go over to joinmyleadershipnetwork.com. Watch the video on leads. Watch the video on leads and understand a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. If you like what we do, there's a button underneath that you can hit join me. If you don't like what we do, there's a button at the top that's an X. Go move on to do something else. We appreciate everybody for watching. And like we always say, the best trained team wins. So let's lock arms and go accomplish some goals and dreams. Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.